Hey everyone, it's Mr. Wolf here, and in this video, I'm going to be introducing the circulatory system. And so just in general, in this unit, we are going to be delving into how our bodies work, all right? How they keep us alive, how they function. We're going to focus on three main systems. The circulatory system, so that has to do with blood, the respiratory system, how we're breathing, and then the digestive system as well, how we digest and get nutrients or get food into our bloodstream, into our body. All right, now before watching this video, make sure that you've watched the level of organizations video. It's a really important video for getting a foundation of the different levels of organization that it's important to know when we're tackling any of these different systems. All right, so let's get started. All right, so speaking of levels of organization, looking at the cell level, all right, we could talk about a really important cell in the circulatory system called the red blood cell. All right. And this is what a red blood cell looks like. It actually looks like one of those inner tubes that you might find in a lazy river, all right? And in many ways, it's kind of like that too. It's traveling in your bloodstream, right? So here's a picture of a blood vessel right here. You're going to see these kind of white-looking things. Those are your white blood cells. White blood cells are involved in your immune response, so fighting pathogens that might be in your body, all right? So for instance, like COVID-19, all right? But red blood cells carry oxygen through your bloodstream, all right? And you may have heard of this protein before, it's called hemoglobin. So they have tons of these hemoglobin proteins in a red blood cell. And the hemoglobin proteins are the actual molecules that carry oxygen and in your red blood cells through your blood to go to all the cells of your body. All right, so now let's look at the tissue level. All right, what are these there's three different types of blood vessels that carry blood through your body. And so what are they and why are they different? Why are they important? The first one we're going to talk about are arteries. All right, so if you've ever well, first of all, when you think arteries, think away from the heart. So arteries are any blood vessels that travel away from the heart. And you can imagine your heart's pumping. There's a lot of blood pressure. That blood is moving with a lot of force, with a lot of pressure. And not only that, but these arteries are muscular. They provide a pulse. So if you ever feel your pulse, whether it's on your neck or on your wrist, all right, that is your arteries squeezing. All right. And if you've ever watched, let's say, a movie where someone gets injured and blood is like spurting from a wound, that means they hit an artery. And your arteries, right, because they carry so much blood and because that blood has so much pressure, they are more towards the inside of your body, more protected, because if you injure an artery, that is a life-threatening situation because it's carrying so much blood at such a high pressure. All right? Now, arteries are also, well, they're important because they're carrying oxygenated blood to all the organs and the tissues of the body. If you think about it, your heart's pumping this oxygenated blood, right? And it needs to, let's say, get all the way to your hands over here, all right? And that's a long distance. So it's important that we almost have like a highway system of blood vessels. So you could think of arteries as like a highway, right? Where blood is able to travel from one area of the body to the other pretty fast in a relatively thick blood vessel through the body, all right? So here's would be a cross-section right here. Here's the muscle of the artery. Right, and if we look at this right here, this is blood coming from the heart. It's traveling through an artery. And then you're going to notice that the artery kind of splits up into different branches. So this is almost like getting off at the exit, all right, of a highway. All right, and now we're going on more less busy, less fast roads. And so now we're going to get to a new type of blood vessel called capillaries. All right, so capillaries are incredibly thin. They're microscopic blood vessels. You really can't see them with the naked eye, all right? And this is where things get delivered, all right? So nutrients like oxygen and glucose, those get dropped off at your cells. Let's say it's in your finger, all right? And waste gets picked up, whether it's carbon dioxide or other waste that your cells are producing, all right? This is where that exchange happens, is at the capillaries, all right? And I'm going to actually click on this link right here, blood flow in the capillaries. All right, I'm going to exit because I already got it set up right here. And I'm going to just replay it. But capillaries are so tiny that red blood cells literally go essentially single file through the capillaries. So this is a live microscopic view of a frog webbed leg. That works because it's such a thin tissue that light can shine through it and we could actually see what's going on. So here are the capillaries. You can see the red blood cells going through. Here are the foot skin cells next to the capillaries. And even though you can't see it, this is where oxygen is getting dropped off to those cells and carbon dioxide is getting picked up by those capillaries. All right. So we'll head back to our slides right here. All right. So if our analogy for arteries was a highway, we could think of capillaries as a residential street, right? And this is where, for instance, if you need to, if you're ordering a package or you're getting a package delivered, right? That happens at a residential street. That's where that exchange happens. If you need to get rid of waste, the garbage truck comes and that's where it picks it up. So you could think of a capillary as a residential street where you could get things dropped off or picked up. All right. So eventually, right, you have these capillaries and you have this blood, and that blood needs to go back to the heart to get rid of carbon dioxide so you can breathe it out, but also to pick up oxygen again so this cycle can continue. So what's going to happen is these capillaries are going to reform and make larger and larger blood vessels until they form a vein. And again, we could think of a vein as a highway. The difference is an artery is going away from the heart, the vein is going to the heart. So this is carrying deoxygenated blood back to the heart, which just means it doesn't have as much oxygen, and it needs to pick up more. And it's less muscular, all right? By the way, any vein that you could kind of see on your hands or your arm, anything like that, or any blood vessel you could see, that's a vein, all right? So when they draw blood from you, they're taking blood from one of your veins. And eventually these veins lead back to the heart. And so we're going to talk about the heart tomorrow, but at least we got a good start on the different parts of the circulatory system. Thanks for watching.